What's going on, everybody? I'm Caleb McBride here with Harold Hughes.
Here we
Another
do it.
episode of Nickel and Dimes. Ready for y'all today. We're gonna get into a little NIL conversation. Georgia, Bama. Me and Harry are gonna rank our top 5 coaches that we would play for today. We're also gonna get into a little NFL with the Bills and Ravens playing on Sunday night, and also Lions Seahawks playing on Monday night. And yeah, you ready to get to it, buddy?
Yeah. Harold today.
Yeah, Harold. I switch it up all the time.
It's business day today.
Sometimes it's Harold, sometimes it's Harry.
I like the Harold talking to NIL. That's money.
Yeah, that's money.
Harold's my money name. I'm signing my contracts, going down as Harold. So, getting down. I like that.
Getting out of business today.
Yeah, I should have worn my suit and tie today.
Yeah.
No messing around.
You should have dressed up today. Yeah.
Harold here. All right, let's get into it.
Let's get ready.
Yeah, so the big story with NIL today is Matt Sluka, the quarterback at UNLV, has just announced just this morning that he's not going to be with the program anymore. He's going to redshirt and transfer to a new school next year, all over an NIL dispute. First time this has really ever happened, Caleb. So
Yeah, for sure. This is definitely something new. I mean, with NIL being fairly new, there's always going to be a new story like this popping up, especially with the unclear and unwritten rules of NIL. We were discussing earlier, like there's so many ways that a good lawyer, which most of these schools have, can get around the rules of NIL. And like if Matt Sluka's situation were to go to court, I think he would lose because there's so many ways that a good lawyer could get around the written down rules or unwritten down rules of NIL.
Yeah, it's like the big thing is it was all verbally agreed.
Yeah.
And with nothing on paper, there's nothing he can really do to get that money back. And he just had to hope the university wouldn't screw him over. And as it looks so far, the university has screwed him over.
Yeah, Matt Holt from the New York Post written that it was a verbal agreement, and that Matt Sluka, or his agent, said that his client Matt Sluka agreed upon $100,000 for his NIL deal, and which is part of the reason why he committed to University of Nevada at Las Vegas. And because it was a verbal agreement, there's that was one mistake. That was the first big mistake there, because as an agent, I don't know how you don't have that written down. Don't make that a written down and a signed contract for your client. That kind of ends up putting him in this position where he's in now and screwing him over.
Yeah, it's just nothing like this before. And you're gonna it's probably be a landmark thing where you're gonna see this going forward. People NIL disputes, very similar like holding on the NFL over a contract.
Well, yeah, now it's gonna be like signed contracts and things like that. And it's getting more of a business side instead of amateur football.
Yeah.
And this is really just like a G. I feel like college football has really just turned to the G League of the NFL now.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, but really the bottom line is the NCAA rushed NIL, and it's so clear and evident with all the problems that's coming up. And because they rushed it, they didn't really go through what rules and like what would happen, what would transpire. I don't think they saw any of this transpiring with this.
Yeah, well, the problem is once they announce it, everyone knows, okay, the players are getting played, so you kind of just have to put it out there immediately.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be the guy, oh, yeah, we're going to have money paid 5 years from now, the players. So once they kind of like let it out that they were going to get paid and you could get compensated, they had to throw it in there and they weren't ready for it yet. They didn't.
Not at all.
It's almost a disaster.
It is a disaster.
Yeah.
It did turn into a disaster, and I feel like they would have planned it out and tried to keep this not necessarily keep this in dark, or really they could have announced that we plan on playing the players. It's just going to take a minute because this is like a written bill, like a written law.
Yeah.
Like, it takes time for stuff to get written out. Like, you see, like even in politics, like a law isn't just made. Like once they announce a law is being made, like it still takes a while for it to get written down and actually
implemented.
Yeah, and there's a reason for that because chaos just happens when you just rush stuff out.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about the football side of this for a quick second. Not that we're giant running Rebels fans or anything, but they're a 3-0 team. You know, they beat Kansas, they beat Houston. That's 2 Power 4 teams. This team looks really good for their thing. Like they look good for they're Mountain West.
Yeah, they were 3-0.
3-0, and you look at his stats, you're like, all right, well, Sluka's not the one getting it done. He has, like, whatever passing yards, but a lot of his damage is done on the ground. He's a runner. Against Kansas, he rushed for 124 yards. Like, you don't get that from a lot of quarterbacks in the nation. Even if you look back to him at Holy Cross, he's one of the best dual-threat quarterbacks in the whole FCS. So this is going to be a big loss for UNLV,
huge loss.
Who definitely had, like, hopes of winning the Mountain West. Definitely one of the favorites early on.
Yeah, because, I mean, I watched their game against Kansas. They look good. And then just, again, sticking with the football standpoint, moving from the player side to the coaching side. Like, you're scheming and game plan all week. Today's Wednesday. Yeah, today's Wednesday. This is middle of the week. Like, walkthroughs probably tomorrow. They're probably traveling. I think it's a home game this weekend actually, so they're not traveling. But Thursday, Friday is a walkthrough. Then Saturday you're playing. It's the middle of the week. You're expecting your starting quarterback Sluka to play on Saturday. Now you got to scramble and
Get the
throw in
backup
your
ready.
backup, get the backup ready, and like it's just actually turned into a shit show for the Rebels now.
Yeah, very disappointing. I feel bad for the Rebels fans because, Mountain West, you got Boise State with now Ashton Jeanty. They look like the favorite. But you're like, hey, we got a good team. We're beating Power 4 teams. Like, we got something really going here. And I feel like it kind of dies with him going down.
Yeah.
And your team's going to be kind of rattled by this. Everyone's probably looking around like, wow, our quarterback, they didn't pay him. Like, how am I going to make sure my NIL money's right? And all sorts of stuff like that. It's pretty wild because this kid Sluka, he's coming from Holy Cross. Now he's here. This is his first time playing in the Power 1, like on the FBS football. And he says he's going to redshirt. He's going to get another year somewhere else. So you got to make sure wherever you're going, you got to get his money right because he ain't going to play. He showed that already.
Yeah, I think everybody's going to look at this and be like, oh, I need a written contract now.
Yeah.
And it's going to turn to contracts instead of like what NIL was supposed to be. Because I feel like it needs to be regulated. Like, this is an example or another reason why it should be regulated. Like, this situation is a reason why NIL should be regulated. And also just like the other aspect of just guys leaving smaller schools to go to a big school just for money, or like a school like Oregon being able to get anybody they want just because of their collective, like how much money they have. Like, I feel like it's like almost like baseball in a way. There's no salary cap.
Yeah.
It's like it should be regulated to even out the playing field in a way.
Because you look at teams like Oregon, Phil Knight's going to spend whatever amount of money he wants to get his team.
Your recruiting for college should be based on who you are as a coach, and you should be committing to a school based on like your values and your morals, not because of how much money you're gonna get paid. And it's not. I don't necessarily blame the players, because if you're coming from, if you really need the money and the money's gonna help your family out, like, go ahead.
Yeah,
like,
take it.
Go take it. Take it.
Maybe
as much as
you never know if you're going to make the pros. You could always
exactly
get
too.
injured.
You never know what's gonna happen. So I don't blame them. It's not on them to make that decision. It's on the NCAA to regulate and keep college football how it's been.
Yeah, it sucks for the actual great recruiters out there, like a Jim Harbaugh. I know he's in the NFL now, but he's a Michigan man, so I had to show Caleb some love. People came to play for him because they liked who he was as a person, as a coach.
Saban too.
Yeah, Saban, all those guys. Like, sure, now at the end of it, they could open up the checkbooks, but Saban said before he didn't want it. He wasn't a fan of it, but if this is what they gonna one second, if this is what it's gonna take to get the players, like, yeah, give me the checkbook, but they didn't want this at all.
It's just not. It's just a way to get around it.
And I feel some irony in this because UNLV back in the day with Coach Tark, remember the old basketball coach there, he was famous for paying his players in like the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
So he would get in trouble for all that stuff.
They were super nasty back then.
They were unbelievable,
Yeah.
UNLV. Larry Johnson, all sorts of dogs on those teams. Grandmama. So, yeah, you look back at it, and you're like, wow, UNLV, they're the one team who doesn't pay their players right. Very ironic when you know their history. It's Las Vegas. Las Vegas is money. Go to the casinos. Be like, oh, yeah, how much did one degenerate lose today? Yeah, okay, we'll pay Sluka with that. But no, didn't work out that way.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's an unfortunate situation. Again, it's just another reason why this NIL deal or this NIL situation needs to be regulated, and the decision makers in the NCAA need to hurry up and do something fast, because even in basketball, like, it's other sports where it's getting chaos and it's just not getting headlines right now, but it's just so unfortunate. Like, Penny Hardaway,
1 cent.
good coach.
Yeah.
But he's losing all his players and coaches too.
Yeah.
Because now the players are getting paid more than it's just a whole mess going on right now in the NCAA.
Yeah, but one thing I think is Matt Sluka, you know what team just added him to his draft board? Their draft board?
Huh.
The Dallas Cowboys. He's already got good drama going on before he even gets to the league. He's a Cowboy. But yeah, no, I agree. I think for basketball, I almost like NIL a lot more in basketball and football.
Yeah.
Because it keeps kids in college longer. Because I feel bad, like, a kid's like supposed to be a second-round pick. He's like, oh, I got to get to the league, got to make money. He's not ready for the NBA yet. He plays 2-3 more years. Maybe he could develop, become a late first-round pick, already have a role for him in the league.
Yep.
I like it in that regard, but I get what you're saying, where it's like the coaches get pissed off. Like, why is this kid making more money than I do?
Yeah.
But yeah, going to schools now who have no problem with NIL. Best game of the week, best game of the season so far. We got the Georgia Bulldogs heading down to Bryant-Denny to play the Alabama Crimson Tide. You fired up?
I'm fired up about this game.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a dogfight. I think I'm gonna lean towards Bama. I think I'm gonna take Bama to win. Jalen Miro, Ryan Williams. I think they're just too much for Georgia to handle, and I don't trust Georgia's offense. Some would say I'm a Carson Beck hater, but I'm just calling it how it is. It's just the truth. Carson Beck is not good. We saw him play against Kentucky. Kentucky's defense is good, but they're not Bama's defense. Bama's defense is way better. I feel like Carson Beck kind of gets exposed in this game, and we were kind of talking about it earlier. You brought it up how recently it's been Bama's team who's been inferior to Georgia. It's just they had Nick Saban, and they were able to out coach Kirby Smart. But now like the tide is kind of flipped.
Ooh, I like it.
Ironically, the tide is like kind of flipped, and Bama has the better team, and I think Georgia's only chance is their coaching.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I think a big part of this game is it being at 7 o'clock instead of like a normal. If SEC was still on CBS, this would be at 3:30. It'd be at 3:30 with Gary Danielson and Brad Nestle.
Oh, dude,
I hate Gary Danielson. No offense, Gary. I know what you're not listening.
What?
I hate him.
You hate?
I hate Gary Danielson.
Dude, his voice with the music in the background was iconic.
Just the way
it gets me fired up.
As an LSU man myself, the way he talks about Alabama, the way he would talk about Tua and Bryce Young. It made me so angry.
Dude, you know, I get nostalgia because, like, every time I hear him and then the
Brad.
Yeah, Brad, and then the music in the background, I think of Texas A&M going to Bryant-Denny.
Yeah.
Johnny Manziel and winning the game. But, dude, there's no what? That's a crazy take. That's an insane take.
It's who I am as a person. He's such a Bama homer. I don't even know why. When he talks,
it's so iconic.
He's
like they don't even sound right on ESPN.
It's like they'll miss a clear hold. It's terrible. It's like, what a play by Tua. Tua's terrible. He wasn't like when LSU went in there and beat him the whole time. Like, Tua has a chance. Like, watch what's happening. LSU's beating the piss out of him. Like, watch the game. Bama's down one score, but every single time they cut it to one score, LSU goes down, makes it 2 scores every single time. But sorry on that tangent. This game's at 7. I think that really helps Bama. I still think Georgia's going to win. I love the Georgia defense, like Malachi Starks. All those guys are just dogs. Mikal Williams, all those guys just get after it. And I think they're ready. They're older now. Like Malachi Starks is making unbelievable plays as a true freshman when they're playing against Oregon a few years ago. Now he's a junior. He's going to be a first-round pick in the draft. I think he's ready for this environment. He's played in national championships. He's played in SEC championships. A lot of these Bama guys are unproven, bringing in transfers, bringing in freshmen. Like as you said, Ryan Williams, probably their best receiver so far. He's 17 years old. He hasn't played a Georgia Bulldogs yet.
I understand that, but I still think that Kalen DeBoer he's a great schemer and play caller. I mean, look what he did with Roman Duze and Jalen Pollock last year. And then Jalen Milroe, like I have more trust and faith in Jalen Milroe than I did last year. I feel like he has progressed and grown too. And I feel like he's poised for this moment, and I feel like he's gonna seize the moment. And I don't know. I can't get the image of how bad Georgia looked against Kentucky. Like that's a game they should have won handily.
I think they're gonna get a lot more up for this game.
Oh, me too. I feel like Kirby's definitely gonna have the boys ready to play. Like I can see Georgia winning. Don't get me wrong, but I think Bama could actually run away with this. Maybe make it not necessarily run away with it, but like have like a comfortable lead, like a 2-score lead, like. And then Bama's defense my thing is the defense. Like Bama's defense isn't bad at all. Like they're pretty good.
Yeah, but they played against USF. They played against Western Kentucky, and then Tyler Van Dyke's backup. And I know you're not big on Carson Beck, but objectively, he's better than T.J. Finley, and he's better than the backup of Tyler Van Dyke. I think this is going to have to be a big game for Travis Etienne.
Oh, he hasn't. He's been quiet this year too.
Yeah, we got suspended because he's a Bulldog. He got a DUI. Just what they do down there. I'm not really sure why.
They love drinking and driving down there.
They love if there's a crime with driving, it was a Bulldog. They get it done. Like I don't know why, but yeah. So he missed the first game against Clemson. Been quiet ever since. I think he's due for a big game. Got Oscar Delp, the tight end, filling up for Brock Bowers. Big shoes to fill. I love me some Brock Bowers. Just gonna make it easy on Beck. Get the receivers going out there. You got Lovett still. You don't got Ra Thomas because he was also in jail or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, but I believe in Georgia. I think they can get it done. It's a huge game. I think Kirby's smart. He's played in so many games like this. The boys played in a few. He played in some really heated Oregon Washington games. He played in the playoff. He went 1-1. He got exposed kind of by Michigan, but that might have just been a talent gap. I don't think Michigan or
I
Washington
think that
had.
was just a bad matchup for
They
Washington.
didn't have the line to handle
Yeah,
that.
that was just a bad matchup. But I don't know. I see your point of view. I see where you're coming from. I definitely do. I can definitely see Kalen DeBoer getting out coached by Kirby Smart. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm taking like just Bama at home on like.
It's like all the pressure's on Bama, though, I feel like.
Really?
Yeah, it's the boys' first game against Kirby Smart in his own house at night. Kirby Smart loses, okay. Like, they'll probably rebound, play whoever they play after.
It's not just okay.
It is okay. If you lose in Bama,
I mean, they still got to go play Texas.
They can get in with 2 losses. I think that's not the end of the world losing in Bama at 8 o'clock in a crazy crowd.
Not the end of the world. Maybe if it was still a 14 playoff, but they still got to go to Texas and they lose that game. Like,
but Texas goes to them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's even worse then. If they lose to Texas, then at home.
I don't think they'll lose both those games. I think they'll split.
So you think if they beat Bama, they lose, or if they lose to Bama, they beat Texas?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think Georgia's still a little step ahead when it comes to like football against Texas.
I feel like Texas is a better matchup for Georgia than Bama because I feel like Texas their trenches are like Georgia's 1A and Texas is 1B.
Well, Bama's right there too.
That's what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
like it might be slightly better than Bama's.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying, but I just don't see Georgia losing both those games. I think they lose this week. They win against Texas. If they beat Bama, maybe they lose against Texas.
Dude, I don't know because I don't think they can lose both these games because Tennessee they might be a one-loss team because they play Bama too, and then like.
I see what you're saying.
Like, it's gonna be tough. Like the SEC is deep this year.
Yep. Auburn.
Yeah. Well, Auburn.
Auburn's always sneaking around. You don't want to play War Eagle.
I was gonna go LSU first.
No, I was just kidding. Auburn's terrible.
Yeah, I was gonna say LSU, like Missouri, like although Missouri might be fraud.
Missouri looks so fraudulent.
But like Tennessee's still good.
Tennessee looks super good. The SEC, it just means more.
Yeah, like
just means more.
It's a tough conference.
It's the toughest conference.
Losing to the top two of the top 3 teams, if you're Georgia, like that's not gonna look good. And then Tennessee's still sticking around. I don't think they play Tennessee in the regular season, so they would have to have a better SEC record. Like it's just, I think the odds if they go 0-2, the odds just look so like they're just so stacked up against Georgia. It'd be tough for them to sneak in.
Agreed. I couldn't see them losing both these games. There's no way they lose both of them. That's my guarantee. Georgia will bare minimum.
Guarantee?
Yeah, guaranteed.
Little Charles Barkley guarantee?
Yep, old Charles Barkley. I'll guarantee it. Guarantee it. Yeah, that's what I don't know, cause Georgia they've lost 2 games in the past 52 games, whatever it is.
Yeah,
and they're both to Bama. So
Kirby is a great coach.
yeah, and it's not Nick Saban anymore. Like I think obviously Kirby Smart coached under Nick Saban. Nick Saban's like the devil worker. He knows everything. Like he knows how Kirby wants to coach his team.
Kirby possibly the new Nick Saban.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. He's already got 2 natties going. Harbaugh's gone. So the only coaches with like active head coaches with national championships are Dabo, so he has no idea what's going on down there. Like maybe he'll figure it out one day, but if you're not taking transfers, you're not winning anything. And then you got Mac Brown at UNC, who's like a year away from retirement, probably.
Yeah.
So you got Smart with 2, Dabo with 2, and Mac Brown with 1. Everyone else is gone. That's what happens when you lose Nick Saban.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely gonna be a great game. I'm rocking with Bama though. I'm rocking with Bama.
Yeah, no, I'll take the Bulldogs. Woo, woo, woo. Come on, it's the Bulldogs.
Who's that coming down the track? The mean machine, red and black.
Yeah. You taking the Tide?
Yeah.
Take it.
All
right. Well, both those teams have great coaches. A new little segment we got going on today.
Yeah.
What coaches would you want to play for, Caleb? Top 5 coaches.
I got 5.
He's got 5. I got 5 coaches that we would want to play for any sport, any time too. They don't have to be active.
All time. Too.
All time.
All time. So I'm gonna go first.
Yeah, take it away.
I'm gonna go first, and I'm gonna take a football coach first. All time. Dang. Man, number 1 all time football coaches. Probably gonna rock with maybe Harbaugh. take Harbaugh at 1.
As in Jim?
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh as 1. Love the guy.
Michigan man.
Dude, I mean, he would have me fired up to play. He would have me wanting to play for him too. He's a player's coach. Even though he's an old school coach, he's still a player's coach. And I love his style of play. Like we're gonna smack you in the mouth, and we're gonna keep going until you stop us. I just love that. It's gritty.
Yeah, you gotta respect that.
Gotta respect
He's
that.
a Michigan man.
Yeah.
You know that Ohio State's beating up on him, and all of a sudden, Jim Harbaugh's like, you know what? We're gonna beat you by just building up our trenches, and we're gonna punch you in the mouth.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. And he ended up 3-0 against him out of his last 3.
Exactly.
He built him up, and he physically just beat him. Corum, Edwards, Haskins, all those guys just
ran him in the ground.
Yeah, that's all it took. My first coach, I'll go away from football here. I'll go with basketball. I'm going to go with Celtics coach Joe Mazzulla. He's just
psycho.
He's a nut.
Psycho.
And it's awesome. Like, all he does is practice Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And he said, like, his first year coaching the Celtics, he watched The Town, like, 5 times a week, the movie where it's, like, Ben Affleck and his boys robbing banks.
So he's such a psycho.
Like, that's awesome. Like, and he played in college, so not that I played. You just can imagine me as an NBA player. I would appreciate that my coach played for West Virginia, played in big moments, understands the gravity of the game. And, yeah, he just gets his guys fired up. Like Jason Tatum said yesterday that Joe Mazzulla was the happiest guy in the world, that he didn't win Finals MVP and they didn't get a lot of playing time in the Olympics because he knew it would bring him back all fired up. Joe Mazzulla wants to bring out the dog in you. He's sitting there. He's contesting shots at half court. Like, who else does it? He's a psycho. He's a nut. You'll see him at the bar. Like, there's videos of him just, like, head up, just watching, like, a soccer game or something.
He's crazy, bro.
Yeah, it's Psycho
He's insane.
Joe.
He's insane.
I'm lacing him up for him any day of the week. His
practice gotta be insane.
Just 1v1s at practice. Like, he plays you at the end of practice.
Yeah.
Like, him and Pritchard have, like, a heated series. It's awesome.
Yeah, he's a psychopath, but I could definitely see someone wanting to play for him. My second coach, I'm gonna stick with football. I'm gonna go Dan Lanning, Oregon head coach.
I like that.
Oregon head coach. I mean, I think this clip from last year, Colorado. We don't play for clicks. Like, yeah, it's kind of like a jab, but like, you still have me fired up, ready to go. You get me fired up to play, I'll run through a wall for you.
You think those guys are fired up to play that game?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It was a beating.
What?
Yep.
They came out, they're ready to play, and Dan Lanning's just a great guy in general. He's just a good recruiter too. Like, he's just a guy that you want to play for. Cares about his players. I remember you talking about the late Kyrie Jackson, who passed away this past summer. Played corner for the Vikings, got drafted by the Vikings, and I remember just like hearing him talk about him, and he's like, Dan Lanning literally start crying. Like, that's the type of coach that cares about his players, and that's what you want to play for.
Yeah, it's bigger than football.
It's bigger than football.
Cares you as a person, not just as a coach.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dan Lanning.
Dan Lanning's a man.
My guy.
Love it. My next guy, I'm going back to football, college football. Ed Ogeron, former coach of the LSU Tigers, spent some time at Ole Miss too. Was actually the interim coach at Southern Cal.
Yeah.
Doesn't fit the vibe, but he was there.
Does not.
He belonged at LSU.
Yeah. I thought he was in Southern Cal. He definitely fits at SEC.
Ole Miss worked too.
Yeah.
But when he got to LSU, you know, he might not have been the greatest X's and O's guy in the world.
No.
But he was the greatest Jimmy and Joe's guy in the world. I always think back to when he recruited Joe Burrow to play there. He took him out. They went to dinner, and they tried to get gumbo at this place because Joe Burrow never had it before, being from Ohio. And the place said they didn't have it. Coach O whips out the phone, makes a phone call. They had like a 10-pound thing of gumbo there within 30 minutes. That's what he went. This is just for a recruit, you know? It wasn't like Joe Burrow was some crazy 5-star transfer from Ohio State. He was just a kid. And, yeah, he got him there. He loved it. And, like, you look at that team, it was one of the most fun teams in college football ever. Those guys are having a great time. Go Tigers.
Yeah.
And he kind of enabled all of them to have that fun. Like, I don't think they have that much fun under, like, a Les Miles or even a Brian Kelly.
Yeah.
He let those people, like, the players be themselves. And it was great. You know, the dancing, they're getting the gaff, they're hitting the gritty. And, like, you look at that team now, it's aging so well with all those players being as good as they are now in the NFL. And I really think that Coach O played a big part in letting them be themselves on that team.
Yeah, he's not as corny as Brian Kelly. Like, Brian Kelly, I feel like, tries too hard. But a lot of things, like, Coach O, like, a lot of people say he wasn't really a great coach. Like a lot of people, like, don't give him, they, like, give the players most of the credit for that 2019 run.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, like, he did have
Come on, he held them together.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I respect Coach O.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was actually surprised when they fired him for LSU.
It was time.
It was time.
Because a lot of that success on the field was due to Joe Brady being the offensive coordinator. He played a huge part, him and Denbrock. And it made sense, like, Or no, not Ben. Ben Brock was what's his name? Emzinger, Steve Emzinger. It was those two kind of had the offense going with Burrow, Chase, Jefferson, Edwards-Helaire, Marshall, all those guys. But Coach O was the glue, and you don't really want the head coach to have to be the glue. He should be more like the centerpiece of what's going
Yeah.
on. But he really let that team they all played for him. Like he's out there screaming, "Go Tigers! Oh, we're gonna whoop their ass," and stuff like that. Like he gets the guys going, and he was gotta love Coach O. He's always running around Louisiana now. Like he just runs. People see him all the time. They give him the "Go Tigers!" "Go Tigers!" So he's easy for me to play for. Definitely, he's my number 2.
He's gonna come back to coaching. Or he's just gonna.
He might help out somewhere, maybe a D-line coach, something like that.
Yeah.
I highly doubt he's ever a head coach again.
Yeah. Just hanging the balance. All right, my third coach. Move away from football for a little bit. I'm gonna go back to basketball.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Eric Spoelstra, the head coach of the Miami
I like
Heat.
that.
Eric Spoelstra is a great coach. If I was a draft pick, I would love going to the Heat. First of all, the location, but second of all, I'm going to a winning culture, and like Eric Spoelstra's gonna get me ready to play. Like he's gonna push me. He's gonna push me to be my best, and that's why you always see role players when they go to the Heat, people that you never heard of, and they end up cooking on the Heat because Eric Spoelstra gets the best out of his players, and he's always got them ready to play, and that's why they knocked off a Boston Celtics team that they were like insanely stacked up against in the Eastern Conference Finals a couple years ago. And yeah, Eric Spoelstra is a dog.
Yeah, Eric Spoelstra's devil magic. He's another one of those
Yeah.
guys. He just kind of he gets himself in the fights that he shouldn't be in. Like what I mean is he goes toe to toe. Like he punches up a weight class basically.
Yeah, like 2020, no one expected that Heat team to go to the finals.
Yeah.
And then what was it when they played Denver? I think it was 2023, 2022.
Yeah, 2023. Yeah.
Yeah, 2023. Yeah, like no one expected them to beat Boston. Like Caleb Martin coming out of nowhere, and it's just like role players.
He brings the best out of him.
Yeah, like that's what you want in a coach, and that's why he's had a job for so long.
No, definitely. You got to respect Coach Spo. Another one, very similar. He's actually Eric Spoelstra's boss, but he used to be a coach. I'm going Pat Riley. Pat Riley. I watched a good documentary about him, and just I'm a Boston Celtics fan, but I got to respect the man who has that much hate for the Boston Celtics. He despises them. He gets them up. That's during Bird Magic when he was coaching those teams for LA. And he got the best out of his players. And he didn't take no nonsense from any of those guys. He got big personalities. Magic Johnson's always smiling. Kareem being stubborn, all stuff like that. Pat Riley brought them together, and they won 5 championships.
Showtime.
Yeah, it was the Showtime
It turned
Lakers.
into Showtime Lakers.
Yeah, he brought the absolute best out of them because they couldn't really find a coach. They're moving through. One of the guys had a heart attack, and then they brought in another guy, and eventually they went to Pat Riley. And he was great there. He was an unbelievable coach. Went to the Knicks, I believe, actually.
Yep, he did.
And did he bring guys to the finals? It was around that time.
I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah.
Yeah. Pat Riley's
Patrick Ewing.
he's the Godfather.
Yeah.
You gotta respect Pat Riley. I was supposed to say Pat Ewing, but Pat Riley. Yeah, Pat Ewing would not be a coach I want to play for.
No.
Those Hoyas teams were terrible.
Yeah,
but Pat Riley is someone I would, and even him as a GM.
Yeah.
Pulling strings, just getting it done. LeBron, come here for a few years.
Yeah. I mean, and he stamps he puts a stamp on everywhere he goes. He changes the culture and creates a culture there, and that culture stays.
Yeah.
And yeah, Pat Riley, that's definitely a good pull, buddy. I like that pull.
Thank you.
I like that pull. For my fourth coach, I'm gonna go back to football. I'm gonna go Matt Rule. Matt Rule is a great college football coach. Didn't work out in the NFL, but there's guys just because it doesn't work out in the NFL does not mean you're not a great coach. The greatest college coach of all time didn't work out in the NFL, and that's because the way you coach college players, you coach them differently than grown men.
Yes, yeah.
And some guys are better at coaching 18 to 23, 24-year-olds than 23 to 40-year-olds. And Matt Rule is one of those guys. I want everybody to go and search up Nebraska's walkout. I forget which game it was, but you can search up on TikTok Nebraska's walkout. I think I showed it to you.
When they came up Bud Crawford.
Yeah. When they came out with Bud Crawford, I mean, they do a pregame prayer. Then Rule talks to the team. No, Rule talks to the team. They do a pregame prayer, and after that, they immediately walk out. And it was I watched the video, and I got so hyped. I was ready to go put on a helmet and pads and go out there and play. And I mean, he changed the culture at Temple. You see what Temple is now. Temple's horrible now, but when he was there, PJ Walker was the quarterback there.
Yep.
And Temple was actually nice. I'm pretty sure they went like 11-3 or something like that. And then after that, he went to Baylor. He got the job at Baylor, and that's when Baylor was nice.
He brought them right back.
Yeah, and they were like a game away from being, or no, I think they knocked off Oklahoma State or something like that.
Yeah, they did.
In the Big 12 championship
It came
game.
down like to the goal line, like
Yeah,
last play of the game. I remember
and
that
then he
game.
went to Carolina, comes back to college, and he's at Nebraska. And Nebraska was on a roll until they lost to Illinois, but he's changing the culture there too.
Now he's got his guy too in Raiola.
Exactly. So, there's clear skies in Nebraska, and that's because of Matt Rule. And everywhere he goes, kind of like we were just saying about Spoelstra, he's in college football. He stamps himself. He solidifies himself. And he stamps his own culture there, and he changes programs around. And not only that, he's just a great guy to go out there and play for. And scheme, like he's also a good players coach, but he's a players coach, and he gets on his players too. And good coaches get the best out of their players, and that's what Matt Rule does. And I would love to play for him.
Love it. Matt Rule. Matt rules. Come on, he's the man. I'm sticking with college football. I mean, it's an easy one to lay up. I'm going with Nick Saban.
Of course.
I mean, he's the greatest coach of all time in college football.
Of course.
And I hate losing, and that doesn't really happen when you play for Nick Saban.
Nope.
He brings out the absolute best in everyone. He's a perfectionist, and just like everything he says, like he's very hard on his players. But then like once they're gone, and like once he's like in interviews, like he says really like nice stuff about them all. Like he's a caring guy. Like I remember after the Henry Ruggs tragedy, he went up there and like gave like basically just a testimony on his character of Henry Ruggs. He said,
Yeah.
yeah, it was basically a mistake, but like he's not a bad kid.
Yeah.
And like it's very easy to pile on Henry Ruggs after that happened. Nick Saban didn't
so
have
easy.
to do that, but that's what he does for his players.
Yeah, I mean, look what he said after what happened with Tua happened. Like he was very genuine, and he was talking about it and saying like he wants Tua to make the decision for himself and for his family, and he was concerned for Tua and all that. And Tua hasn't played for Nick Saban for a couple years now. Nick Saban's not even a coach anymore.
Yeah.
And yet those guys still mean a lot to him. You can tell he cares.
Yeah. Nick Saban won a national championship at LSU too.
Yeah.
So gotta respect him for that. And obviously what he did at Alabama. I mean, it's never probably gonna happen again, especially with the NIL coming in.
Yeah, I feel like that's another reason too, because like I feel like these coaches like I don't want to say they don't really care about their players anymore, but it's really just about like that foundational bond, and like where you go and recruit, you go to the player's house and you like sit down with their parents, you get to learn about them and how they grew up and all that. I feel like that kind of goes away with NIL because now you're just throwing out the checkbook, and I feel like that's another reason why he kind of left the game too.
Because he was a master at what you were saying.
It's ruining the bonding experience of a coach and a player.
Yeah, and another thing I want to say about Nick Saban is I think he was exceptional at adapting to the times of college football. Like you look at the early 2010s, it's Alabama to LSU, and like they're playing games and the winner wins 10-3.
Yeah.
Just the defenses on those Alabama teams back then were so good, just loaded with dogs. Like not the high tower running back there, like just animals. Just would play for them, just such good defenses. And then you look at the end of the decade,
they had elite quarterbacks,
and their offense is just scoring 45 points a game.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe it. Like you have four receivers on the field. Any of them are going to be a first round pick in the draft.
Yeah.
Like, his ability to like evolve with the game is what separated him from so many other great coaches that are too stubborn. They like evolve with the game.
Yeah. And they still had good run game in like good trenches. Like Josh Jacobs was a big guy. Derrick Henry, like he did a great job of evolving, and like when he needed to go out and get quarterbacks, like he did. Jalen Hurts, Tua, Bryce, like he went out and got Mac. Mac was elite. He was pretty good. He was pretty good at Bama. Why are you shaking your head here?
He wasn't good at Bama.
He wasn't?
No, he was terrible. He wasn't terrible. He just is very easy to throw Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle. I think he's by far the worst of any of like those era Bama quarterbacks. I take Tua. I take Bryce Young. I take Milroe. I take Hurts.
He's the worst, like of the 2010s, or just that
of those guys,
okay.
Since they went to passing, really.
All right, that's fair.
I can't stand Mac Jones.
Yeah, you have a deep hatred for Mac Jones.
I've seen him play more than I should have.
Like you actually dislike him.
Yeah, he seems like a nice enough guy, but he's just kind of a weenie. Like stop throwing it off your back foot, step up and rip the ball. It's all you have to do, and he couldn't do it because he doesn't have a strong arm. So he's like back there throwing it. Like just step up and throw the ball, Mac Jones. But I digress. Your next coach, please, Caleb.
My last coach, my final coach. I'm gonna go. This might be like of course, like obvious one. I'm gonna go Kirby Smart, understudy of Nick Saban. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna change that. I'm changing that. That's too easy.
You have your license?
That's too easy. You have a license.
Yeah.
You have a license. I do.
I wouldn't go play at Georgia, man.
I do have a license. I take that back. I wouldn't play for Kirby Smart. That's too easy. I'm gonna go Lane Kiffin.
Love it.
Lane Kiffin is a guy I would play for.
Get the Lane train rolling.
Come on, if I played receiver, I would go to Ole Miss in a heartbeat. Like, I'm going to get touches. Lane Kiffin is one of my favorite. Him and Lincoln Riley are one of my favorite play callers to ever come across the college game. Like, their schemes, like their blocking schemes, their play action. Like, Lane Kiffin will pull guards on play action and make it look like a heavy run set, and it'll be a pass. And he makes the game so easy for his quarterbacks, which is why you hear of Jackson Dart and Matt Corral cooking up in college and not translating and not end up doing well in the NFL. The only knock on Lane Kiffin is that he usually doesn't have a great defense, and his quarterbacks don't translate well to the NFL. But other than that, Lane Kiffin's he's a funny guy. Like, I remember that play that, like, it's an obvious touchdown. Like, he sees it happen before it happens. He tosses the clipboard up.
He gets it up there.
Dude,
that is up there.
I would love to go and play for that guy. And he, like, his little comments that he throws, little jabs he throws at Kirby whenever he goes to plays.
Oh, Brian Kelly's always getting
Kelly always getting, like, Lane Kiffin's just a funny guy. I would love to go
He's
play
a
for
troll.
him. I would have the time of my life at Ole Miss playing for Lane Kiffin. And yeah, if this list was longer, I would throw in Lincoln Riley too.
Honorable mention Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, honorable mention Lincoln Riley too. If I was quarterback, I'm committing to Lincoln Riley in a heartbeat. I'm going to NFL. I'm probably going to win a Heisman too. I'm probably going to be a top 5 pick. Just look at his work. And then also, like, his offensive scheme and his play calling, exquisite. Like, it's amazing. And knock on him is he just never has a defense. But I don't have to worry about that. I play offense.
Yeah, he's an offensive coach.
Yeah, exactly.
My last one.
Yeah, finish this off all right.
Huh?
Finish this off first.
You know, getting deep in my bag here.
Go
I was
ahead.
thinking, I want to go with a local coach, but I'm going to go with a local coach. Well, Claude Julien, Bruins coach back in the early 2010s.
Hockey.
Oh, yeah.
Tossing a crazy pool. You really went deep in the bag.
Oh, this is my guy. He won us a championship in 2011. Those Bruins teams, you know, they had great players, Achara, Bergeron, Marchand, all those sorts of guys. But that wasn't their identity. They weren't some flashy, oh, look at us team. They just punched you in the mouth over and over and over again. They were a tough-as-nails team. Brad Marchand's licking people, sucker punching people. They were scumbags. They played his way, and I loved it. They
True
played
Boston people.
Boston Bruin hockey. You know, we hated the Montreal Canadiens. They would come into TD Garden, and we would just beat them until they couldn't move. In 2011, you want to know what wins Game 7s? Great coaching.
Yeah.
That's what wins Game 7s. 2011, Bruins go 7 against the Canadiens. Win. Then, the year before, actually, we played the Flyers. We were up 3-0 on them. They came back, reverse swept us. We blew a 3-0 lead. Next year, the year we win the championship, we go up 3-0 on them again. So what do? We sweep them. Beat the piss out of them. Oh, Tampa Bay Lightning, they got all these flashy players. They got Rolison in the net. They got Stamkos. Yeah, we're going 7 with you, and we're going to beat the piss out of you. Then, who's coming along? Because we're just manhandling these teams. We got Daniel Pye, you got Johnny Hockey, Johnny Rocket, I should say.
Right.
Johnny Boychuk just beating the out of people. Milan Lucic. We were just a hard-nosed hockey team. Go to the finals. Oh, it's the it's the Vancouver Canucks. They got the Sedin sisters. Real flashy guys. Oh, Daniel and Nick Sedin, they're so good. They got Luongo. Bunch of punks. All these guys. We lose the first 2 games of the series. Everyone's like, it's over.
Oh.
We go back to Boston. Manhandle them. Beat them like 10-1 in these games, which is insane for hockey. We go back up to Vancouver. We lose Game 5. It's over again. Back against the wall. We go to TD Garden. We beat them in Game 6.
That means Game 7.
We're going to Game 7. No one's won a road game yet. And this is where Claude Julien unlocks the Bruin within us all. We go up there. We beat them 4-0. Vancouver riots. They burn down their city. The bar tab, it's unbelievable. Now it's all because Claude gets his guys going. That team had more heart than any team I've ever watched since. And that's what the Bruins are missing. You know, they got a little flash here. We're the Bruins. We just set the win record. That's why you lose in the playoffs. Because they didn't have the dirt in the nails that those teams had. So that's my last coach, Claude Julien, Boston Bruins. Come on.
Yeah, you went really deep in your bag there. I'm not going to lie. Because when you said his name, I did not know who that was for a minute.
My guy.
You went deep in the bag for that.
Claude.
Yeah. But those are our top 5 coaches we would play for. definitely think my list was better. Not gonna lie.
No, you wouldn't get it.
I feel like I have more relatable.
You didn't watch
coaches.
Claude Cook.
Dude, because it's hockey.
Yeah.
It's hockey, dude.
Well, we went up into Vancouver. We beat the piss out of them.
So you guys were like just a annoying, gritty team, huh?
We were the most annoying, the grittiest.
Just like true Boston people.
It was the epitome of Boston sports because, like, the Celtics now, like, they're not soft, but
they're a little flashy.
Yeah, they
flashy.
score 100 points, beat you by 50. Not this Bruins team. They beat you by like 1 or 2 goals, but you'd be missing teeth. They spent half the game in the penalty box. There's a photo of that team. There's 7 guys in the penalty box. How do you even do that? Moving on.
Yeah, we need to because you're getting on your.
I'm pretty fired up.
You're getting on your little Boston homer.
No
one wants to hear that.
This is a dirt in the nails.
We get it.
You wouldn't get it.
You get it. You're from outside of Boston. You're a Boston fan. We get it. Like
yeah, you wouldn't get it.
We need to move on now.
We're moving on. You trashing the 11 Bruins is how you.
That's not moving on. That's not.
Okay, we'll talk about the Bills and the Ravens.
I like that better.
We can talk about them.
I like that better.
Yeah, actually, give me an awesome game.
Yeah,
it's gonna be great.
Yeah, Bills coming in undefeated. Undefeated. Bills coming in undefeated. Josh Allen playing probably the best ball of his career, maybe so far.
Definitely the smartest ball.
Yeah, definitely smartest. I mean, he actually looks like a franchise, even more of a franchise guy. Like he's not being Superman. He's playing in the scheme.
Yep.
And the Bills look like actual contenders, and they were sleepers coming in this year. And like a lot of people saw like the Jets, the Dolphins were picking them over the Bills, but here come Bills are the undefeated team.
Look better than ever.
Look better than both teams. And Ravens coming off a big win in Dallas, trying to turn their season around. Another big back-to-back big weeks for them. Big game on Sunday night. I think the schedule makers did a great job with this.
They cooked.
Yeah, for sure. I believe this game is in might be in Baltimore. I'm pretty sure, but
It's in Baltimore.
Yeah, it's in Baltimore. I'm gonna take the Ravens to win this game. I think they bounce back or they continue to build off that Cowboys win. Henry gets involved a little bit more. They get Henry running downhill more, and Likely actually makes an appearance. I think they get Likely involved too. Maybe Mark Andrews.
Maybe. Maybe.
That's a big maybe. But I think the Bills. This is definitely gonna be a close game. The Bills are gonna play hard, but I think they walk out here with a loss.
Okay, I'm taking the Bills. I think the Bills are gonna go down to Baltimore, M&T Bank, and I think they're gonna beat them pretty good. Not like a blowout or anything, but I think the Bills are probably just a better football team. I didn't think the Ravens they beat the Cowboys. Well, they look great, but then they gave up that lead. It was very unconvincing at the end.
Yeah, bad fourth quarter.
A terrible fourth quarter, and that's kind of a trend for them. I feel like.
Yeah, you don't want. That's not. Sorry, because you all. But
Yeah.
you don't want to see that as a contending team.
No,
you're a good team. You need to finish off a bat. When you're playing that well, you need to finish the team off like that. Not give them life at all.
Yeah, I think Josh Allen's playing the best football of his career, just finding all his different weapons. James Cook's been great already, and the Bills' defense looked really good. I know, the Jaguars suck, and they took advantage of them, but Tua, before he got hurt, they were owning him. They had him for 3 interceptions.
Yeah,
this Bills' defense looks super motivated. I don't know what McDermott's telling them, but he's getting them going. They're fired up. So, yeah, I think I'm going to take the Bills. I'm going to take them by 10 points. Take them by at least
10.
1. Yeah.
10.
I think
2-score game.
Yeah, I think something like that could happen. I'm not that moved by the Ravens so far.
The line is 2.5. They got Baltimore 2.5 right now. Very interesting. Probably because Baltimore's the home team.
Yeah, that's all it is.
But I don't know. I feel like maybe it's because I just want the Ravens to have success. Maybe that's what it is. But I don't know. I could definitely see the Bills winning, and really not too confident with this Ravens pick. But I'm stick with the Ravens. I feel like they're eventually going to figure it out. I feel like last week was the start of it. I mean, because they really could be 3-0 right now instead of 1-2.
Yeah.
They just caught a couple of rough breaks against the Chiefs, and then they just played bad against the Raiders.
They crapped their pants against the Raiders.
Yeah. They really. I mean, well, honestly, this has been kind of a trend now that I think about it, because Raiders they didn't play well in the first half. They didn't play well, but the second half they brought it back.
They lit them up in the fourth.
They kind of kicked it up then. But then total opposite against Dallas.
Yeah.
They just need to find the middle ground, and hopefully they find it against
Play
Buffalo.
a full 4 quarters.
Yeah, full 60 minutes, and that's what coaches preach. I think Harbaugh's been preaching that all week to his guys. I think he's gonna have them ready to play. Lamar knows Marlon Humphrey was gloating about the win on the plane home, and Lamar's in the back like, what are you doing? Like, we're 1-2. Like, Lamar's a great leader. Doesn't really get appreciated for that too. You don't really hear Lamar being a great leader like that. I think Harbaugh and Lamar is gonna get the guys ready to go, and Ravens know what type of time it is. They know the Bengals are struggling.
Mm-hmm.
Steelers are 3-0. They probably think they're the better team. They are the better team.
They are the better team.
Like, this is their time to really like start to get it going. And it starts right now. It starts. You got a good Buffalo team coming in. Got to handle business at home. I think they will.
Just can't agree with you, man. I can't get down with that. I gotta go with the Bills. Josh Allen, you know, I'm a Pats guy. I've seen Josh Allen way too many times over the past few years, and he's so hard to mess with. Like, tackle all that, and that Baltimore defense, like, they're letting Minshew light him up.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna have a real tough time. Like Kincaid, all those guys are really serviceable. They're not Stephon Diggs, and the Buffalo defense can get it done.
Yeah.
They have like pieces, like sneaky guys are bringing along. They're not big names yet, but they have a really quality team. And I'm not sure Baltimore's righted the ship yet. I mean, if Baltimore beats them good, I'll be on the wave for the rest of the year. That's all I need to see, but I haven't seen it yet, so I'm gonna go with the Bills.
Fair. I mean, to the Josh Allen point, like you said, like you've seen Josh Allen before. This is a different Josh Allen.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like this is definitely a throw up, like toss in the air.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm rock with Baltimore.
All right, man.
I'm rock with Baltimore. I'm ready to.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the other?
Yeah. Let's go to the next night. That game got Seahawks Lions.
Yeah. One of the doubleheaders for that night too.
Oh, is that another doubleheader?
Yeah, it's another doubleheader. I feel like who plays that Monday night? I think it's Tennessee Miami.
All right, so this is the marquee one.
This is the one that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think this game. I see the Lions winning pretty easily. I think the Seahawks schedule has been pretty soft up until this point, and I don't think like Jared Goff's a world beater, but I think he is a step up from the Jacoby Brissett's of the world, the Bo Nix's of the world. So and Skylar Thompson, I think he is a level above all those guys, and the weapons he's going to work with. I actually a really tough. I don't see the Seahawks being able to beat this Lions team.
See, I see what you're saying, but it's Jared Goff, dude, and Jared Goff. We were talking about this the other day. He's regressed. Like, he looks worse than he did last year for sure. And I think the Seahawks aren't the Cardinals. Like, Seahawks are going to come in here. They're going to play this team hard. Yeah, Detroit's going to be rocking. They're going to be loud. But Geno's been playing pretty good. Metcalf's been playing well, too. Broncos' defense isn't horrible. Patriots' defense isn't horrible either. Like, they play these lackluster teams offensively. But defensively, these teams are pretty good on defense.
Yeah.
And the Seahawks' defense is – I mean, we were giving them credit. We were like hyping them up the other day, like Mike McDonald.
Yeah, Mike McDonald's a great coach.
He's a great defensive play caller, and they got guys on this defense. They got two great corners, and they got Julian Love in the back end. I don't know what Leonard Williams' status is, but they got dude, I'm about to butcher his name, but Mafe.
Yep.
I don't know how to say his first. Yeah, I don't know how to say his first name, but Mafe coming off the edge too. Like, they got guys. I think this is gonna be a close game. I feel like these teams are very evenly matched. Like, I know it might sound crazy when you think about the Lions, but just with the way they've been playing, and I just can't get off of how bad Jared Goff has looked this year, and I feel like he's not going to pick it up. I think the story of the season for Detroit is going to be, man, we might have to get rid of Jared. Jared probably is not our guy. I don't know. Maybe he might end up cooking up on Monday night and proving me wrong. But I'm going to rock with the Seahawks for the simple fact that Jared Goff's play has been lackluster and Geno Smith has been playing well. And I think that – and the Lions don't have DBs either. Like, the Lions –
that's what I was all excited to get into.
The Lions DBs, like, they're really – like, they're sketchy. Like, Terrion Arnold has been struggling to start the season off. I mean, he's a rookie corner. That's expected. Carlton Davis –
looks old.
Exactly. And, the Seahawks receiving core. We literally talked about this yesterday. Seahawks receiving core is – pretty deep. They got Tyler Lockett, Jack Smith, and Jigba, and DK. DK's been having probably one of the best start. You said yourself, he's been having probably the best start to the season of his career.
Yeah, he's been great.
Yeah, and the Seahawks still have a run game too. Like, Zach Charbonnet's been cooking up. Like, I don't know if the Lions are gonna be able to stop this pass game. And Brian Branch might be out too, because I'm pretty sure he had a concussion.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he got hit. He went to go hit Trey McBride over the middle, and just saw his eyes close.
McBride's out with a concussion too.
Yeah.
They both get one?
Yeah, I think they
Damn.
both got one. So.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. You're raising good points, but I still think just like I trust in Terry Arnold. I saw him at Alabama. I thought he was really good. Carlton Davis just need put him on locket. Just two old guys. He's a slot. Who plays the slot for them? Smith and Jigba.
Smith and Jigba.
It's gotta be one of them. They're both kind
I
of
think
slow.
I feel like they rotate in.
Yeah, but I like the matchup of Davis on Lockett. I don't think that's as big of a mismatch as you would think it'd be. But I don't know. I trust Aiden Hutchinson to get some pressure, and I think the Lions O-line should be able to handle the Seahawks D-line. I think that's a huge advantage. The Seahawks got good D-line, and Lions got great O-line.
Yeah.
And you got Gibbs, got Montgomery. Those are two really tough backs to stop. St. Brown, he's not going to be trying to go stride for stride with a Woolen or one of those guys,
Yeah.
Witherspoon. And Laporta over the middle. He's out, right? Is he playing?
I'm not sure.
But he's questionable. I still take the Lions. Jameson Williams for a shot play here and there. I'm going to take the Lions to beat the Seahawks on Monday night.
Yeah, I see what I do think you brought up a good point about the trenches. I think definitely Aiden Hutchinson's going to have to step up. And the Lions' defensive line, they're going to have to generate pressure, and they're going to have to lean. The Lions are going to have to lean on the pass rush, on their pass rush, and their run game for this game, because they do have the superior O-line and D-line. So I don't know. It's definitely interesting. I just don't know how sustainable that is. Like they can play keep away if they want to, but I don't think that fits the Lions' play style. Like they can run the ball, but they're going to want to get Amon-Ra and J-Mo down the field, get them involved, and I just like the Seahawks can run the ball too. That's the thing though. Like
I'm gonna trust in the last 2 years of Jared Goff more than the last 3 weeks.
that's fair.
I think he's gonna bounce back.
I think he kind of deserves that too. That's fair to say for sure. But I don't know.
No, I respect.
It's recency bias.
Yeah,
it's recency bias slightly, but I can see what you're saying though.
Right.
I can for sure see what you're saying. Yeah. Well, we want to thank you guys for tuning in today. Another great show. Shout out to Ryan behind the camera, holding things down. We want to shout you guys out. We appreciate all the love and support. Continue tuning in. We're gonna continue bringing high quality episodes to you guys, and we'll see you guys soon.
Yeah. Thank you guys.